This episode will help you make the leap from past Lich or Ruby versions to the most current build. We are focused on the Windows version today. Depending on what version of Ruby or Lich you have now, the instructions will vary. Log into a character using your Lich directory and use ;version if you can. That will show everything. Or ;E echo Lich_version. Note the all caps on part of that command. And ;E echo Ruby_version to see your respective software versions. I'm running Ruby 2.6 and Lich 5.6. Here are the instructions up front for how to upgrade from the different versions. If you only want to go to Lich 5.8 and are running at least 5.6, you can back up your Lich 5 folder, run a couple of update commands, and then you're done. This next option is more for advanced users that are on a version that's between 5.0 and 5.5. You should back up your Lich 5 folder, run the update command, download a Lich-5 zip file, extract the zip file over your existing Lich 5 installation, then restart Lich. This last option is for anybody who's never installed Lich before, has a version before 5.6, doesn't qualify or want to do the advanced upgrade, and or wants to install fresh. If you're running Windows and not sure what to do, this option should work the best for you. I qualify to do the Lich upgrade command due to my version, but I encourage to install fresh every couple of years. This is just a preference. You do what's right for you based on your version and options available. Something to remember about installing fresh, things like your logs, the aliases you've created, and scripts that you've downloaded won't immediately be in the new directory, so more on that later. If you use the script elogin covered in the popular Lich scripts part 3 video, use ;elogin list to capture all your character names and account details. Type ;autostart list and write down your global scripts and personal character scripts that you've created for various alts. You will need to log into your different alts to get their local auto starts. So while you're doing that, use ;alias list to write down all the local aliases for each of your characters, and take note of the global aliases as well. If you use the Lich network and have previously set a password, you should consider using the ;lnet password equals command to set or verify your existing password in case you need to change it or enter it in the future. Alright, so you have all your logins, your auto start scripts, your aliases, and passwords written down somewhere just in case. Let's go through the process of backing up and installing fresh. Step 1 is to log out of all characters, so let's do that now. We've already backed up some information from within the game, now it's time to back up the actual Lich folder. Most players will have the default one on their desktop called Lich 5, Lich 4, or maybe just Lich. I gave mine a custom name and stashed it on a thumb drive. You'll know it's the right one with a few key indicators. Double-clicking the Lich file should show all your character logins. Going into the scripts folder should show scripts that you've downloaded, and inside your logs folder should be character logs if you use the log or elog scripts. You will notice maps in the maps folder as well. Once you're confident this is your active Lich folder, you're going to want to go to that top level, right-click, and copy the main Lich folder. For this example, let's go to the desktop, right-click, and paste. This will create a copy of all the files in our Lich folder. While that's happening, let's talk backups. You often see tech advice to back up your backup, and this is especially true with your Lich files. Right now, I have a backup copy on my computer's desktop, but what if my computer fails? You should have another backup somewhere, either stored on a virtual space if possible, or even external options like thumb drives or portable hard drives. Take time to back up again in a separate, more secure place if you have that option. Okay, so you've gotten everything written down and backed up at least twice in different places. I'll go ahead and unplug my thumb drives to avoid accidents. Click your Windows Start button, type Programs, and click Add Remove Programs. In the list, you're going to want to search for two different things. Almost everyone will have something called Lich or Ruby. If you're running a really old version, you may have multiple Lich or Rubies. If you don't absolutely need them for something specific, take time now to clean out all of those Lich and Ruby programs. Once you've uninstalled, check for anything named Lich or Ruby one more time. You may also want to visit the C drive and ensure the Ruby for Lich 5 or related files have been removed. If your actual Lich folder or backup is stored on the C drive root, consider moving it somewhere else for now, or put it on a thumb drive if you have one, just so things are as clean as possible. Now that we've completely removed Lich and all variations of Ruby, download and run the latest 5.8.0 installer from Alethea Online's GitHub. You'll have the option to install Ruby or Lich 5. I'm doing both here. Once the install is finished, you'll locate your new Lich folder and open the Lich file. Enter your login and password information you wrote down earlier for your main character. Try to log in. You may auto-download maps. All of this is normal. Alright, use the version command to verify you are now at the correct Ruby and Lich versions. The Alethea Online team are always working to improve your experience. There's a new beta version of Lich you can obtain now with a single command, Lich 5-update --beta. Most notably, this might be useful for sorcerers who use Hunt Pro. Lich will no longer incorrectly identify your animates as enemies. A huge thank you to Taisong and the entire Alethea Online team for everything they do for us. If you want to know more about the Lich software itself, check out Player Guide Episode 11. It's a good time to go ahead and download and set up scripts you normally use. Avoid copying from your previous scripts folder just to avoid overwriting the wrong thing. You can download the LNet script and enter your password if you use that network. Take time to add in your auto starts and aliases for your various characters. And while you're doing that, you could check your ready and stow game commands, but those aren't affected by a Lich install. It's more just to make sure they're set to the right thing. The last major thing to do is to type /vars set lootsack equals container name. You can use /vars setup to change your settings in the future. Some scripts use specific variable names, so if you aren't sure what you're doing here beyond that lootsack, leave it alone. You're all set to adventure in GemStone IV with the Lich software. If you want to learn more about programming or coding in the Lich Ruby language, be sure to come back for more episodes in this series. Next time on the Ruby Dungeon, we'll talk about a coding mindset, get you set up with any software you need, including a text editor, share some safety tips about using and reading scripts, and teach you how to write your very first script using Lich Ruby. I hope to see you then.